I don't know quite how to begin this. We'll start it. See, there are 3 or 4 schools in India, one here, one in California, Ohio, and one in Canada, Vancouver. That makes 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 schools. They're all, the intention of these schools is to do you know what the intention is? Is to put these teachings, which some of you have heard or read, to the students through their subjects, through their academic learning. I don't know how far in India they have succeeded. I'm afraid of very little, not at all, almost. And here, you know what it is like. And in California, we're just beginning, and so in Canada. What I'm trying to say is that we've got, in all these places, a group of teachers who are sufficiently, I think, interested in the whole project, in the whole operation of these schools. We have been trying for many years to make all this act as one unit, though they are legally, nationally different. Trying to make all these schools, bring about in all these schools a feeling which doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, that we're all together working for the same thing. And I think we're going to start, when I go back to India now this winter, a gathering of teachers from all over India. Teachers' seminar in Madras is going to be one. And we're going to see if it is possible to find out how to transmit or translate these teachings through their subjects to the students. Whether it's possible. What do you say? You understand my idea? That is, if we could all have the same, have the same kind of teaching here, India, Ohio, and Canada. It would be a marvelous thing. You understand what I'm trying to say? The same the same kind of teaching, the same kind of education through the schools. I wonder if I'm conveying anything at all. Am I?
You mean something more than the same intention?
We have to teach the ordinary subjects, right? That is essential because for various reasons which you don't have to go into. Can we, through the subjects which every student has to go through, convey these teachings to them. I want to teach, say if I'm a teacher in one of these schools, I'm a teacher of history. Suppose I am one. I would like to put these teachings, when I am teaching the students, you understand what I'm talking about?
I think there's not even amongst the teachers here, and as the space between us is larger, there's no agreement on what the teaching is, really. I mean, I shouldn't say no agreement. I'd say there is some disagreement as to what the teaching is, and then, of course, there is, the personal image. It gets filtered through the personal image, and so that we very seldom do it here.
Look, can we do this here? I'm going to be here for the next, till October the 15th. And then I go to Rome, India. I've got a guarantee, almost a guarantee from the Prime Minister of India that I can say what I want to say in India. Otherwise I wouldn't go publicly. What I've been talking about in India for the last 50 years, I would still go on that condition. She has agreed, the Prime Minister, and I'm going. So I won't be put in prison or etc., etc. How shall we do this? How shall we transmit? If we all think these teachings are important, how shall we transmit all this to the student? So that we have different kind of humanity that leave the schools. You understand what I mean? Different kind of human being. When he leaves the school, he's not just like everybody else. I'm not being snobbish or trying to be super elite, but I think that's the intention of all these schools. Now, how shall we do it? As teachers here, as a staff, how shall we work together to bring this about?
From what you've got inside you comes out your approach to the...
But Mr. Joe says it's not very clear what we're talking about, what these teachings are.
I think it may be clear, but there's not a consensus about it. It may be, one may feel that one is fairly clear oneself.
All right, sir. Let us take, for example, one thing, freedom. What's the meaning of that word? The nature, how shall we transmit to the student what the implications of that word are, which is a responsibility, no authority, a sense of capacity to investigate in oneself, and therefore investigate the world and so on, impersonally, all that we have been talking about, more or less. Now, how shall we do this? Take the first thing, freedom. How shall we convey this to the student? In the subject that we are teaching them. You understand? Through the subject. How shall we do it?
What we actually do here,
Yes, go ahead.
those who have their area of responsibility, physics, chemistry, kitchen, office, garden, for the most part, I don't really know what someone does in mechanical drawing or in math. I don't really know.
So can't we talk together over it? Huh?
But we don't actually do that. I mean, we
But-
never have done it.
Uh-huh.
So that it is not clear to all of us what another teacher or a person is
Can't,
doing with the
now
student.
can't we do that together? Hmm? What each one of us doing, how each one of us transmits this to the student and interchange, see if we can't improve it.
But sir, this would happen not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom too.
But I'm saying both, throughout the day. Hmm? How shall we do this? As Mr. Joe points out, each of us may do it in our own way. And we're not telling each other what we do. And so help each other and correct each other. So that we're all working together. Is that possible? Huh?
There seems to be one problem. I mean, if one truly has an understanding about freedom, not intellectual, not verbal, then there is no problem. One's actions will be correct. And I mean, if we all get together and have a clear understanding that it's verbal, or it's
No,
it doesn't go deep enough. So.
we will go deep enough, but how shall we do this? Suppose I teach history. I may be interpreting the teachings in my own way and putting it through my study of history. And if I discuss it with you all, you might correct me. If all you say, you're doing it wrong, old boy, change it. And we correct each other. And therefore, together we are building this thing.
Krishnamurti, do you mean
Doing this specifically with regard to the subjects or in our everyday relationships as well?
Both.
Seems to me, sir, that we've discussed in our everyday relationship now for, how many, 7 years, exhaustively. But there is, at least I may be guessing, but it seems to me there's an unknown area, which is what in the classroom, when you have to teach physics or geography, how that, I think,
That's what I'm trying to.
things haven't been brought.
That's what I'm trying to convey.
Discussing what do we do in relationship, living together. We've been through that. Not that we understand it totally, perhaps, but could we be more specific in these? Because not only the people in this room, but those other teachers and would-be teachers all over the world are asking you these questions in letters constantly.
I
How
know
do you
this,
bring it
I know
into
this.
the
That's what
actual teaching of a particular.
I'm asking you, how shall we do this together? You understand? Now what shall we do? Come on, sir. Let's help each other in this.
We could attend each other's classes.
Huh?
We could attend each other's classes.
I don't know. So,
That way you
let's find out.
We could also meet and discuss what we are actually doing in our classes and learn from each
Can
other.
we do
that
that?
way.
Can't we do that now? I mean, it's
That's what I want to do that now. Can we do that now?
But are we saying that what we would like to accomplish in the classroom is having the student use his brain in a different capacity than he's used to, so that he has a feeling for what it means to think creatively or to not just mechanically receive knowledge. I mean, that's a tremendous task. Is that what you're hinting at? That something in the actual teaching of the day-to-day maths, biology, etc., that our approach in these schools will be such that the student's brain is exposed to a different way of operation.
You might do it in most proficient way, and I mightn't. And by talking over with you together, with all of us as we're doing now, you might help me to, you follow, accelerate my own
it's not, it's just not, I don't want to just accelerate how efficiently I pass the knowledge. That's just, that's not quite the thing.
Are you suggesting that instead of worrying about the proficiency of our teaching, that right now we could individually say, well, this is what I've been doing in my
Or
class.
this, how should I, discuss it together. Because I'm going to face this problem when I go to India next month, in November. I'll be there 26th of October. I'll be faced with these teachers. There'll be many more than you. And other teachers who belong to other schools are coming. So I'll be faced with this. And please help me to solve this.
Well, the best thing that I can think of is to say, well, this is what I've been trying to do in my class, and maybe I haven't been doing it right. And I don't know whether that's of value, whether that's the kind of thing that we do.
There's a difficulty between subjects like science and mathematics and things like history and English literature. History and English literature, and to a certain extent geography, dealing with human behaviour. So the direct approach is somewhat easier.
Yes, sir. Let's take human behavior. Now, how am I, in my class or outside the class, how am I going to convey this to them?
You start where you are, with the students in front of you who are human beings and behaving in a certain way. And from there you go outwards to...
At the end of it, I want them to behave in super excellence for the rest of their life.
In history, it's easy to show that stupid behavior causes destruction. Those lessons in history are very clear.
Sir, don't let's discuss theoretically. How shall we do this? How am I, if I am a teacher in one of these schools, how am I to convey to the student what is behavior through my subject during the day? You follow the whole thing. You understand what I'm talking about? So help me, please. Let's talk it over together.
Well, the first step, I think, obviously, is the way you structure your classroom. If you are acting as an authority in the classroom, and you treat a student at a lower level.
Oh, that's gone, finished.
Right. I mean, then
If
no
you
matter
use
what
the
you
word
do.
structure, Joe, you've killed it before you start.
What's that?
I say, if he uses the word structure, you've killed the whole thing
Whole
before
thing,
you
yeah.
start.
What word would you use?
I wouldn't use any word like that at all. Approach to it, or the attitude, or something like that.
Right.
Because structure is a plan you make beforehand and try to adhere to. Don't want any structure in your teaching.
Well, maybe a better word is the relationship that you have with your students.
Much better.
Yes, like relationship with the student. If you're saying, if I start as a teacher, putting myself on a pedestal, and then below me, then it's finished, it's over. So that's the first thing you're saying, that relationship between the educator and the educatee should be non-authoritarian. Now, how do you convey to the student that feeling, the real responsibility of that meaning? You follow all that? How do you convey this during the day and in the class?
Isn't it all in our attitude and the way we speak, the way we present something?
I know, but have you got it?
Well, the teacher does have a certain authority in that he has the knowledge that,
Yes, you are a yoga teacher, all right. You know more than I do. I hope you do. And if you exercise authority in the sense that you are, as a human being, you are much better than the student, or put yourself on a pedestal, we lose our relationship, right? So, what shall I do? How will you show to me? I come to the school conditioned and all the rest of it, accepting authority, frightened of authority, and if you say there is no authority, the reaction to that I can do what I like. I can say, oh, I'm not, I won't learn from you, you are stupid. You follow that reaction. So how shall we meet it?
We convey to the student the difference between the authority of simply knowing your subject, which is not in any sense a psychological or personal authority. You just happen to know algebra better than someone else.
We all say all these things. Now, how, please.
The first thing I do with new students each year is to talk exactly this kind of thing with them. What I understand by teaching and learning, and perhaps what they have understood in the past.
Look here, sir. I go to India. I have talked in all these schools for months already about all this, with the students, with the teachers separately, individually, and nothing has been, you follow? Nothing.
Well, I can only speak about me and
I'm just saying, so what, to prevent that nothing happening, you have got to do something.
Well, I have found to do that if teaching stems from anything, it is from relationship. Without that, you've finished.
Yes.
So the academics
how do you establish relationship? Let's stick to that one thing. The student comes absolutely conditioned, right? Not happy, conditioned. Having no relationship. You understand? He's frightened of his parents, he's frightened of, etc. And so he's conditioned. And you talk to him of relationship. He won't even understand.
No, I wouldn't use that word.
No, he won't even understand. How will you convey this to him and establish it in him so that he lives that way?
Why has nothing happened?
What?
Why has nothing happened with all your talks with the teachers?
What?
You say you've spent so many months talking with the teachers and with the students, trying to set up a relationship.
Don't ask me why it hasn't happened.
Yeah, why hasn't it?
I don't think probably they're not interested in all this. They merely want to earn a livelihood and held to everything else.
I mean, so if we're in the same predicament, if we have the students and we're trying to,
That's what.
how do we raise their interest then?
Krishnaji, in any group, any class that I've taught, there's a great mixture, a great range, and some are, as you say, very heavily conditioned, don't know what you're talking about, aren't interested. There are also those who are not like that, who are really interested in finding something out, and there's a great range in between. And so there always is somewhere to start. And I make it very clear that I'm not interested in being a policeman or someone special, and that we all have an equality of importance, and that we all must do this together. And some of them respond to this very quickly, and some don't. But then it's not just me. There's a body of people
That's what
interested
I'm
in the
saying.
same thing.
As a communal thing, how do we together act or teach or whatever we do to establish in the student this feeling?
When you say how, I don't know
How? I don't mean how. Please, when I say how, I don't mean a methodist system or structure.
But still, in the situation, there may be no conflict in me. I have to handle things as they happen. But if you ask me, how do you do this, or what happens, I find it very difficult to put into words.
Krishnamurti, is it that we all come here, say we're in this as a school, and it's not a question of individual subjects and individual people doing this, but that we've seen that there is a wholeness which we must work together, seeing the interconnection of all things, whether it's teaching, whether it's how you approach a person about misunderstanding something, that it's the wholeness of not only this place but the world.
How, I understand, but how, in what?
And that it's the personal and separative emphasis that has been given to education in our lives that has created this conflict and poor behavior to each other. And isolated individual separative teaching.
So what?
And that here you have a small nucleus of people who have seen.
No, what's it? She's not feeling well.
Sorry.
Sorry, you're in pain?
Yes.
Help her. Press her neck something. Go and see Maria.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just leave it alone. Don't talk.
It's okay.
Leave it, leave it.
But we're doing this. We've come together saying, look, this is necessary.
Wait a minute. Take time.
We come into the classrooms and we are conditioned ourselves by everything that's gone before us. And we have ideas about even what the subject is, and if you look at it more deeply, it's not very clear what mathematics is or what physics is. And in fact, it's just as important to see what the student thinks that subject is. And you may be wrong in what you think.
I turned it off. I thought it was bothering you.
Not me.
And so one may be wrong in thinking that one knows what physics or mathematics or history is as a subject. In fact, one might have to learn just as much from the student about what this subject is that you're teaching them. And it's not a thing that we tend to remember when we're in a classroom.
What do you mean by what are we going to learn from the student who comes here 14 and, as Krishnaji said, completely conditioned? I mean, what is he going to tell me, or she?
Well, sometimes students who are very, to begin with, I come in here completely conditioned as well. So I don't really see that great difference between that student and myself.
But when you say completely conditioned, are you just using that as a phrase?
No, I'm not using that as a phrase. I mean,
if you really saw your complete conditioning, wouldn't that change it?
Change the complete conditioning?
Yeah.
It would change the
If you
fact
saw
that I was conditioned.
It would, wouldn't it?
I don't know about that. Do you?
It wouldn't.
I don't know.
I'm intending to describe subjective states within ourselves, which obviously bear on all this, but aren't we here to discuss what action we take with regard to teaching in the classroom? Naturally, all the rest of it is connected with that. But it seems to me that if we just try to estimate our own understanding of the teaching or states within ourselves in relation to that, we're going away from what I think is the intention, which is, how do you teach?
Yes. How do you teach?
Well, having worked with Harsh, I would say that I don't think that he was talking about states within himself, though we did get into conditioning all of a sudden. But more, what is the sense of the subject matter, the material, the relationship of people to the material, relationship of the subject to life, to what it's amounted to, or what they've seen in history or math that made any sense to them in their daily behavior, the way that things happen to them, the way things might happen to them. And it becomes a kind of a living communication about it, rather than something that's so many numbers on the page. It becomes they expose what it's meant, and a new thing that is old in math but new in that it's being covered now becomes uncovered and discovered more or less for the first time that week or that day in the class. It's subject to what people think about it, what's happened to them, what it means, what's gone on in terms of that phenomenon to them, and they begin to see it not as something foreign or separate.
Well, does that examination in the classroom of one's own understanding and relationship with the subject, does that enhance the student's knowledge of, one, the subject, and two, the way that the teachings are involved in this? It would seem to me that would, I don't know, possibly make for greater confusion in the student.
No, it seems like every subject arose by people looking at what is. And if right then and there you are looking at what is, or attempting to, and that's, you understand where the elements of the subject come from with the student, then they see it too, you see it with them, and eventually you may in fact go through the whole history of the subject and the way the subject developed in the human brain.
I'm not sure that we're missing Krishnaji's point. I think we're getting very involved in the subject. I don't know whether Krishnaji is trying to explore something else.
What am I trying to convey? Would you tell me?
Well, I think you're particularly trying to convey or ask how we are going to bring about the teaching in the classroom. And the subject itself isn't... the subject is important, but it's not of prime importance. It's just the medium. The medium.
Look, Harsha, look, I want to talk. I'm very interested in freedom. To me, that's the greatest importance, etc., etc. Now, I would like to teach the student this, with all the implications of behavior, responsibility, relationship, all that's involved in it. I like to convey this to the student, and I want him to live it as I'm trying to live it. So that we both are on the same level in discussing with each other, we understand each other, and so on, so on. I want to know how to do this. How, in the sense, not a method, how to do it. All right, I'll call it a method. How shall I do it?
What you're describing now seems to me where you start, where you meet somebody.
I'm doing it now. I'm doing it with you.
And you talk to them, and you say this.
Tell me what I come new. I'm very interested as a teacher, as an educator, in this idea. Really, it thrills me, gives me a tremendous feeling that's great importance. But I don't know how to convey this to him. You understand? Tell me what to do.
Well, I asked you.
This is our problem. I'm putting it all up, not to him only. So please tell me, help me in my classroom and outside, how to convey this immense feeling about freedom. With all these, things involved in it, not just freedom, just climb a tree. I don't mean that. Freedom means discipline, no authority, a real relationship, all that's involved in it. Tell me, how am I to teach him? At lunch, how am I to teach him? Or when I go out for a walk with him, with the student. Or when I am teaching a subject, and I'm interested in this. In teaching a subject, I want to convey this to him.
He's got to feel thoroughly at home with me.
I don't know, sir. I don't know how to do it. Tell me.
Well, it can be done in one of two ways. It can be done subtly or overtly. You explain what you're going to do, first of all.
You're not telling me. You're not teaching me. I want to learn from you.
You can learn, first of all, what it's not. You can learn, first of all, what is not freedom.
Tell me. Don't tell me, please. Don't tell me. I come here. Please, I come here as a new teacher. And you have heard this chap for many years. And I'm really deeply interested in this idea of freedom with all the things involved in it. And I want to convey this to the student, not only in the classroom, but when it's outside. Show me how to do it. Have you got a book about it? No, please listen. Have you got a book about it? What to do? Because we're going to compile a book. I want to do it with somebody who says, let's sit down and go through this thing, step by step. Huh?
You want to write a book on how to...
Yes. You understand what I'm saying?
But you can't write a book on...
Huh?
You can't write a book...
Oh, yes, I can. We are together going to write a book about it.
On teaching, but not on...
through the subject and outside the classroom and in the classroom, to teach this to the student, to the teacher as well as to the student, how to do this.
When you say in the classroom, do you mean that because they're all sitting in the classroom and it's 11 o'clock time to study mathematics that you talk about freedom? Or are you saying through studying mathematics you bring in the
Both. I talk to them before the class. I want to find out how you do it. Before I begin with the subject, I talk to them about freedom for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then enter the subject, go into the subject and say, look, let's work this out, the subject, what is involved in teaching and how to teach through the subject this idea of freedom. Doesn't it thrill you to do this? Huh? Oh, come on.
I'll tell you one small part of this. Students come often with a big hang-up about mathematics, as a particular example. They feel they're poor at it. They feel
I hate mathematics.
They hate it. It's been very badly taught in the past.
Yes, I understand.
They don't want to take it, or they feel they should, but they won't like it. There in their lives is an area of conflict immediately, and they are aware of it, or they can be made aware of it very quickly. Mathematics is a subject based, or about order. It's a subject of order, which is the beginning of freedom. And they can quite often understand what if they can imagine perhaps what a thing it would be to resolve this particular black cloud in them, that they always feel they ought to know mathematics, but it's the most terrible thing. So let's try this.
Before I talk mathematics, knowing that boy hates mathematics, I would say, look, let's see if you can't get over this fear. Forget about mathematics. So I would tackle that. What to do with that boy who is frightened of mathematics. Right? So I said, right, you must be free from it. I have a feeling that he must be free from it, otherwise life becomes a bore, frightening thing. So I said, all right, I'm going to help that boy to be free of fear of mathematics. How? Tell me. Let's discuss it.
I get them to express to me what they feel about it, and perhaps then go in a bit, how did this come about?
Yes, go teach, help me to write a book together. For the love of... Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I understand what you're talking about, but
can we do
I have
this?
some
What is it?
Doubt.
What is the doubt? Out with it.
Well, physics I know. To a certain extent. That is, I have no problem going into class day after day after day with the mechanical part of physics.
Yes.
You know, if I want to teach O-level physics, in order for people to get into university, the state provides me with a tremendous list of materials which I know quite thoroughly. I can go in and we can discuss them. In a sense, it's very rigid. Now, but when I try to, when we deviate from that, you can always stay right on that, and none of the teachers here have any trouble with that part of it. But then the question is, what happens when we want to, we see a little area there? Well, maybe this has something to do with freedom. Maybe this has something to do with authority, order.
Yes, yes.
There is, for me, some doubt as to whether this.
So you have helped me to write a book. So you're showing how to do it. That there is a doubt, there is a certain uncertainty, and we examine that. Let's examine that. You
Can you write a book on how to be intelligent?
That's what we are trying to do. I believe there is a book called The History of Stupidity. All the Huxley used to talk about it. The whole volume of it. How human beings behave through stupidity and so all the rest of it. Now we are trying to write a book, how to be intelligent. In the classroom and outside the classroom.
Many of us have been around Brockwood for 2 or 3 years. We've read your books and teachings for even longer. I think none of us have any problem in understanding the words. None at all. We would quickly come to
yes,
practically guess.
You're all fairly intelligent, right? Go on.
So we have that part of it pretty well down.
Now.
So that if all you mean by teaching freedom in the classroom is to get a student to equally be able to repeat those words, there's no problem.
No, of course.
There's no problem.
I think that is stupidity.
Right. And I think what we're all balking at as a group is that we recognize there is a difference between knowing what is said about freedom
of course,
and having that freedom.
Yes.
Being.
Yes, I understand now. Proceed from there.
Well, we have that doubt. Well, at least I can say I have that doubt.
Doubt about what?
Well, like if you say to spend 5 minutes at the beginning of class talking about freedom.
What?
I mean, what do I know about freedom? I mean, except...
Learn about it, for God's sake. By talking, you learn from yourself as well as from the student. I know. May I put the question differently? Does the educator want to learn with the help of the student as well as with the help of others what freedom is in the class and outside the class? Learn so that he himself, boils with it. Let's do it now. Do we want to learn about it? From the student, in teaching, in talking about it to the student, I am learning about it. Therefore, it's affecting my life. Right? So, I come here as a new teacher, and I want to learn about it. Please tell me. Help me.
This is hypothetical.
No, it's not it's not at all hypothetical. It is actual. I want to learn about it as a teacher. And for God's sake, help me. I like when I've read a few pages and I listen to the chaplain, I know what it means, but I want to go into it much more. It thrills me. It gives me enormous sense of importance. The thing itself, not me. So, help me. And you keep quiet.
Because I don't know how to talk about it, Krishna.
Huh?
I don't know how to talk about it.
To find out, learn. Because you're going to convey to the student.
I in no sense think that I'm a totally adequate teacher. But I don't have any conflict in the student situation.
Look, I come to you as a new teacher, to you all. I meet Mr. Joe for the first time here. I say, look, Mr. Joe, what the devil does he mean by freedom? Help me. And as I'm a teacher, I want to convey this to students. Show me how to do this. What?
Well, I could come to you as a...
We are now doing it. Do it now. We are doing it now.
Yeah, well, I come to you as a staff member of a school that bears your name, and I ask you to teach me.
I'm willing.
About it.
Don't turn the tables on.
Don't
turn the tables on. That's not quite fair. That's not quite fair.
No, it is.
You have been here. My stated case, you have been here for 7 years. And you know much more about it than I do. I come here as a new teacher, and I say to you, Mr. Joe, I am really very deeply interested in this. Tell me what it means in your life, what it means, how do you convey this to the student in the class and outside the class? Tell me about it. Teach me, I want to learn. You have been at this 5 years and I've just begun.
One thing is that the distorted ideas.
Huh?
One thing is the distorted ideas. that a student can have, that a teacher can have?
Give me the ideas. Feed me with something.
Well,
I want to learn.
Well, you start off with all the things I think that are non-freedom. There's examples of authority, and they're right in the classroom, they're right in front of you. And if you go into those, you can see how they lead away from any kind of freedom.
So you learned about videotape, didn't you? Took time, all that, went into it thoroughly. And you know now how to do it properly. In the same way, can't we do this thing? That's mechanical, I know. Huh? Wait, I'm not sure. I am not at all sure.
Well, isn't the problem in fact a mechanical one?
No, there is a mechanical thing he has learned. Perhaps if we apply the same capacity to learn, then we'll help each other.
But in looking at what isn't right
Look, Ted, are you willing to learn from me, who have lived here for 7 years, have heard our teachings and so on, so on, so on? I'm little more acquainted with than you, who come here for the first time. And you ask me, look, what does he mean by it? How do you do this in the classroom, and how do you do it outside? Tell me, you follow?
I'm looking at a specific point, but I think if you could correct me, but it seems like a real point that some of the issue in the actual problem of what isn't freedom is in fact quite mechanical.
I agree.
Right.
Therefore, there is a great deal of the intellect is greatly great mechanical part. We must utilize the great mechanical reasoning part and go beyond it. But you won't even do the reasoning part first. I'm asking you, teach me the reasoning part of it, which is mechanical. Huh?
But it seems that you can't set up a mechanical situation to learn even mechanical things.
No, there's not. I am doing it now, sir.
Well, it's got to start with to be interested in freedom, you have to have some understanding of what freedom is.
Teach me. I'm here for the...
You've got to have the freedom to ask and to reveal your point of view.
I'll ask you, what do you mean by freedom, sir? You have heard this man, you have thought it out, you have worked at it perhaps for the last 3 or 4, 5, 7 years, and I'm new to it. What does he mean? Tell me, teach me.
But if you wanted to learn physics from me...
I'm asking you. You don't...
I'm asking you, though. I would ask you, what do you know?
I will tell you.
And then we'll start from there.
I will tell you, but I want you to help me.
No, but with you as the student or the new teacher...
You are teachers. I am a student. I put myself in that position as a student. I say to you, please, you have been here for 7 years or 3 years or whatever number of years you have been. Please help me to understand this thing.
Okay, well, if you as a student, a new student perhaps, should come to this place with an image of this wonderful, perfect place.
Teach me what I do.
And very soon after getting here, new students almost invariably come up against what they see as rules and regulations to inhibit freedom. So immediately you have a situation.
So, all right, I come here and I see rules and regulations.
You must get to bed at this time, they say.
Yes, so you help me to understand that. Help me, teach me. See, I'm willing to learn why you have rules or why you don't have rules. Why?
The rules that exist are there to create the basic order from which...
I said, why should you have basic order? When you talk about freedom, why should you have basic order?
Because without order...
So you help me. So what is order? Huh?
We do it, you do it when you're talking to the students all the time. We go into order, we go into freedom. But it seems it has to hit a nerve or what have you that goes beyond the verbal. I mean, for him to explain order.
We said, just now we said, as he learned how to work the videotape machine, camera. There's a great deal of mechanical process involved in it. But the essence, he wanted to learn about it. Wait. Do you want to learn? As he wanted to learn about the videotape camera, do you want to learn about freedom? Learn. Reason, using your intellect, driving it, finding out for all the things involved in it, which is a mechanical process. Are you willing to do that? I would talk to the students that way. They want to learn about all this.
And if not, why not?
Then I begin to find out who wants to learn.
Well, perhaps that's more essential.
Huh?
If they are not interested in this question, to find out.
I want them to learn. Learn whatever the subject is. But first, I want them to learn about this also. So I look around and say, why aren't you interested in learning? There's something wrong with you if you don't learn. What's wrong? I would go into it, you see. So I come to you as a new teacher, and I say to you, I've been here for some time, I want to learn, teach me what you have learned. Huh?
Well, students always want to learn, but they don't always want to learn what you want to teach them.
No,
They want to learn
I come here. No, don't pass the buck. I've come here as a teacher, wanting to learn from you all who have a little more experience than I've had, and please help me to learn what you have already gathered. Tell me about it.
Can you verbalize it?
I can. I will show you.
Well, then, if I'm not interested because I might feel that it's another theory, would I not, if example, or would I not be more, learn more by that?
By an example.
By being, if, say, I see someone serious.
Wait, by an example, the same thing.
Yes.
I said, don't learn from examples. Then you are caught. Then you are merely imitating. Or being stimulated, which is fatal, which is like taking a drug. I would go into it. You follow?
Isn't it possible in the classroom to start with where you may be at that moment, which is the non-interest? Because if a student isn't interested, their very non-interest is of interest.
Forget the student for the time. I am the new teacher. I'm going to stick to that. I'm the new teacher here. You have lived here for 7 years, 6 years, 4 years, 3 years. Please help me to learn what you have learned.
Well, in the face of everything that's happening in this, the surface of this earth, all the conflicts, etc., are you so sure that teaching the traditional subjects, math, physics, chemistry, art, literature...
May not.
Is that so important?
May not be.
Well, unless we, as a group, as a
That's what I'm asking you. As the social structure, to use that word if I may, as the social structure is as it is now, to get a job, to get a position, I need some kind of degree.
But so what?
I'm at the end of 2 years, I say, I don't want to go through all that mill.
Some don't, right?
I want to abolish, so I don't want to enter all that. So therefore, you help me to be intelligent, to deal with life. You follow?
One still to learn how to use the brain.
What?
One still has to learn how to use the brain.
Quite. Don't.
No, I'm saying.
Shakuntala, please listen to me. What are you going to do with me as a teacher here? You've been here 5 years, right? Teach me. Help me to understand what you have learned. Stick to it, not any other. Don't go off the subject. Because I am new. I've got to face tomorrow, when at the end of September, the whole school. In the meantime, I want to learn from you quickly.
But I have to start from what you know.
I don't know a damn thing about it. I've come here because I'm very interested what you're all trying to do. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I think you're doing something here. And I'm interested. I've read few books, but that's nothing about all this. And I come here. And I say, please, what have you learned? And help me to learn what you have learned. It's a very simple question I'm asking you.
3 years ago, I came here in exactly that position, thinking people here with a great deal of understanding, much more than me. I want people to talk to me, to help me.
What happened?
Nothing.
Therefore, why?
And then absolutely nothing. Until you began such talks, and suddenly I felt, well, this is what I'm here for, something's happening. But out of that arose my understanding that in fact, really, probably nobody could tell me anything, essentially. Nobody could teach me how to teach. And then really I was completely alone in that, in an essential way.
Look,
and that gave me a tremendous freedom to
yes,
begin from
therefore,
nothing.
You are saying you didn't learn from anybody from this group when you first came. Why?
This is what I felt, yeah.
Why?
I felt then.
No, I want to know why.
What I'm trying to... Because people didn't feel adequate to help me.
What about students?
Well, this was early on, before students had come.
I mean, the students would be in the same position.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, but you have to tell them.
Once it began, I was on my own. I began, and things worked.
No, you see, you're a new teacher. I'm an old teacher here. When you come, it's my responsibility to see that you understand something about what we're doing. My responsibility.
That's what I thought.
If I don't do it, I fail in my responsibility. I'm putting myself in that position. Are you failing in your responsibility? Teach me now. I know, Sushi, whatever it is. Tell me. You have been here for 6 years or 5 years. What have you learned? And help me to learn. And you keep quiet. What's up?
I don't see what you're getting at here.
Are you asking?
Huh?
Are you asking, as a new teacher, help me to face the class when the term starts?
Yes, term starts.
That's right.
In not only the term in the school, in the class, but also outside the class.
Yes.
And you have talked. You have listened to this man about freedom, and I'm really interested in that freedom. So before I meet the class, tell me how am I to understand this freedom, and help me how to teach this thing in the class. I made this very clear.
Well, if you're really interested in the freedom, then the whole thing is done.
But that's no answer, Brian. We do tend to say, well, if you understand, it will happen. This doesn't I mean, it's true, but it doesn't help talking about it. It's a conversation stopper, if I may say so.
Well, the only way I've learned since I've been here is through relationships.
I'm not interested in what you have learned. Teach me. You see, you're going off the point.
I tell you that when the students...
I'm the
you
teacher.
confront- I know.
Stick to that one thing, logic.
I'm talking to you as though you were a new teacher.
That's right.
When the new students confront you, or you confront them, I'd tell you that you'd probably find that they're afraid of you. They're looking upon you as their personal authority.
How did you get over that fear between you and the student?
You have to start off by
how did you establish the right relationship?
By showing them that I'm just as conditioned as they are, and that I'm not a person of authority, that I'm the same as they, and that I want to learn with them.
So you have taught me one thing, which is to come off my pedestal. Which is a great thing you have taught me just now. Right? And do I learn it, or just a verbal statement which I've accepted? Therefore, help me.
I'm frightened of them too.
Of course.
Well, then you have to show them, because that will help.
Same thing.
Well, then in our relationship this way, we learn together.
What?
In our relationship with one another, we establish something. Relating.
What do you mean by relation? I don't understand. I've come here. No, what do you mean by relationship? I've understood what she said. She said, come off your pedestal when you are teaching. You are no longer on the pedestal, whether in the class or outside. She has taught me something which I've learned. I want to learn from you. So she's taught me that. But Joe, I see that, how very important that is. Am I capable of doing it? You follow? Am I really interested in this relationship? What is that relationship when I'm off the pedestal? I have been on the pedestal with other schools, with other places. Here you're asking me to come off the pedestal. I must find out the implications of that, right? Which is relationship with boys, with this class. What does it mean? What do you mean by relationship? You use that word.
Is it admitting that we're both learning?
What do you mean by relationship? You use that word. You have used, all of you, that word very easily. I want to know, what do you mean by that word? I know I'm related to my wife. We quarrel, I loathe her, or I can't stand her, or I'm putting up with her. I know all that. But you are using it in a different sense, apparently. So please tell me what it means. See, I'm writing, you follow, sir?
It's an interaction, communication between people.
Now, communication. Do I communicate? How do you communicate with me as a new teacher? Right? How do you communicate with me? I don't know you. I meet you at a dining room or talk with her, but actually I don't know you. So how do you establish this relationship?
If you are coming here
I'm learning.
As a staff member.
The basis of my coming is here. I want to learn, and I actually all that. So help me to understand when you use the word relationship. What do you mean by it? Not only verbally, logically, but also as you talk about it, I feel the depth of what you're saying, or the superficiality of what you're saying.
Well, if I care enough, I'll try to find out and get to know you. And
I want to know what you mean by that word relationship. I know what relationship generally means. because of my wife, my father, and all the rest of it. I understand that. But you are using it in a totally different way, which is after coming off the pedestal, I've come off the pedestal, and you say then you have a relationship. Then what do you mean by that? What takes place? Convey it to me in words when I'm off the pedestal.
Caring or concern. But there's a concern for the other person. A care.
So are you saying relationship means concern? I don't know. You're teaching me. I'm a new teacher here, so help me. So what do you mean by concern? I'm very concerned about my wife. When she's ill or when she, etc., etc. I'm very concerned. Is that what you mean?
Well, I mean, I'm concerned because you're coming here to Brockwood and you're going to be a part of all this. And so I'm concerned that I'm concerned.
Shakuntala, please. Is you use the word, I've come off the pedestal. I know what it means to come off the pedestal. I've learnt it. You understand? I'm off the pedestal. Then you use the word relationship. When you are off the pedestal, you have a different relationship with the students, with people. Now, what does it mean? You teach, help me to understand it.
Doesn't it mean that you're able to learn together?
Learn together, yes. What about?
About the subject as well as...
I want to know, after coming off the pedestal, what the relationship means, and how am I to translate in the class as well as outside the class what that word implies.
And what you read out also is that having come off the pedestal, the combined students wish to put you back again. They will try to put you back. Now what do you do when they try to put you back on the pedestal?
I won't be put back. I understood. I am fairly intelligent. I see the logic of it. I see the substance, the meaning of coming off the pedestal. I've smelt it. I've tasted it. I understand it. You can't budge me. I won't go back on the pedestal at any price. So I'm out of that. But we've used the word responsibility, and I want to know what that means.
Relationship, you mean?
Relationship to what?
Responding.
No, I've responded to my wife. I know what that means. You are using the word differently, apparently. Or you're using the word in the accepted traditional meaning, which is having a relationship with my wife. Sexual, dislike, irritation, all the rest of it. Is that what you mean?
You say friendliness and interest in the particular student.
Relationship. She said concern. She said concern. One of the things. Concern. I say, I'm concerned about my wife.
An interest in the well-being of that particular.
So, am I interested in my concern with my wife, that she should be well? Are you putting the same relationship as I have with my wife? With these students?
These are students.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you how. Don't say, why do I bring the student? Please listen. I bring my wife into it because I only know that relationship. You. Huh?
All of us know all kinds of.
I don't know. You are introducing something else. I want to find out what is it you are introducing. I only know one kind of relationship with my wife and my family, with my children, or my father and mother, whatever. That narrow, limited relationship. When I'm off the pedestal, you tell me you have a different relationship with the student. I say, what do you mean by that word?
You have interest in the
What?
There is interest in the thing itself, in whatever it is you're investigating, rather than in the use of the subject to gain a success.
Are you saying to me?
Its motive is
Yeah.
taken out.
Wait, are you saying to me, in your relationship with your family, there is a motive? Here, there is no motive. Listen, you've taught me something. Here, you say, when I'm off the pedestal, there is a relationship between all of us and the student in which there is no motive, right? Is that what you mean? Now, you have learned that, have you? You're teaching me that. So I say, my friend, are you without a motive? Huh? What do you mean by a motive?
I'm using the word wanting to learn. See,
No, don't go back to that. I want to know what you mean by motive. I have a motive. With my family, money, I have support, I have to have money. Here you're suddenly introduced a word, no motive. My God, it's a tremendous thing you're talking about, to do something without a motive. Are you here are you here without a motive? I'm questioning you because I'm questioning myself. If you are without motive, my God, that's the greatest thing that you could teach me. So I've learned two things. Off the pedestal, a relationship with my students, with others, in which there is no motive.
I have a motive, I want to learn, and I want to teach.
That's a different thing. I'm using the motive in the sense, a cause.
No ego enhancement out of it.
What's that? No self-interest. Let's use that. Let's use that instead of that word motive. No self-interest. Wait. We'll come to that. I want to be clear, precise in this thing, because you're teaching me something enormous, which is, I've lived as a teacher in other schools, and also I've also lived at other places on a pedestal, and you have knocked that out of me. Completely. I won't be put on a pedestal by anybody, because I see it's stupid. That's established. I'll work at it. So that I'm never on a pedestal, even though I'm sitting on a platform, never. Then you have taught me, in that coming off the pedestal, my relationship to students, to everybody else is different. Now, you say that in that relationship is implied no self-interest. Huh? What does that mean? Teach me, what does it mean? I must have money for clothes, food, and shelter. That's the motive. That's self-interest.
It's not a motive for teaching him.
Huh?
It's not a motive for teaching him.
No, wait. I must find out what you mean by a motive. Self-interest.
There's no status involved.
What?
No status.
I'm off the pedestals. So I accept that right away. Status means positions. Platform, up, gone. I have no status. I'm coming to the point, self-interest.
Surely there's no self-interest in the requirements of food, shelter, and
All right, you said that's not self-interest, that's a necessity. Now, where else is there self-interest? Teach me. I'm new here. You have been here some time.
Psychological self. The self in the psychological sense is not being fed
All
by
right.
this procedure.
So you are saying the psychological sense. What do you mean by that?
I mean, as a teacher, it's quite possible you get quite an egotistic kick.
You are teaching me.
Yes.
Bear in mind. Tell me, what do you mean by psychological self-interest?
Maybe I get a sense of, I get a pleasure out of the students liking me, not looking up to me. We're dealing with that.
So that you are saying, be careful. You are telling me, be careful not to be caught in this interest in the students liking me and therefore forming a group around myself. Is that what you're saying? So that's one of the symptoms of self-interest. All right, I watch it. I've learnt that. See, you're at class, I've got you down now, pinned. So you are saying, be careful at Brockwood, in your class outside, not to form a group. Group in which you become the important entity. So you taught me something.
It's another form of the pedestal of authority.
Therefore, I'm learning. It's another form of status. So, Joe, I thought I was free of status, but you have taught me something else. So I must be very watchful now. You have taught me that, to be watchful. Right, next thing is, what do you mean by self-interest? That's only one of the symptoms, right? What else?
Well, there is a problem that may arise.
Give me, teach me.
Say no one wants to teach chemistry, but yet they want to be at Brockwood for all that's going on here. So that they would have to perhaps teach chemistry, they themselves having no interest in it.
Yes,
now, is that teaching
no,
then chemistry?
I'm interested in teaching whatever I'm interested in. No, I said I am interested in teaching physics or mathematics, whatever it is. Then I'm asking you, what is self-interest apart from forming a group around myself and therefore putting myself on a different status? I've understood that. Now, tell me further. What is self-interest?
I think Joe's trying to say self-interest may also be choosing a particular area that you feel you're good at and you like doing, and rejecting other areas there may be no need for.
All right. Are you telling me, look, you are responsible not for a particular job or a particular activity, you are responsible for the whole thing? Is that what you mean, lacking self-interest? Wait, I've learned something. Off the pedestal means group, follow all that. And also it means don't be caught in your own little capacity. And therefore exaggerating that capacity and giving yourself self-importance, which means you must take interest or responsible for the whole thing. When you see a piece of paper on the garden, pick it up. When you see a toilet going wrong, you are responsible for the whole thing. Right, I don't quite capture it. I'll get it. I don't know quite what you mean by it. Responsible for the whole thing. Cooking, if necessary, I'll go and help there. If I can teach mathematics when you are ill or when you are absent, I hope I learn mathematics, I'll teach that. And so on. I feel responsible for the whole thing. Like in a submarine, every sailor is responsible for the whole submarine. Right? Is that what you're telling me? That's second thing. I'm going to ask you presently, are you doing it? Are you telling me verbally? Because I'm very keen, you understand? I'm fresh. I'm boiling with this thing. Don't dampen me, destroy me. But, oh, my dear chap, you'll get used to all this. It's a damn bore. We have lived here for 7 years. You'll pipe down. The flames will go out of your presence. I don't want you to destroy my flame. You won't destroy it because I'm boiling with this thing. So, I understand what that means. The simile is right. In the submarine, I was told, from the captain down to the lowers must know the whole works. Because if something happens to the captain, the lieutenant, and so on down, they must know the workings of it, right? I understand. Go on. I've captured the meaning of that. Now, what else? Self-interest. I'm very careful. I'll show you. About my dress, clothes, how I look, how I behave. I'm very keen. I'm not self-interested in that sense. I'm very orderly. You follow? Yoga, I am built that way. My room, I keep. Is that self-interest? Huh? Why?
Place to function, you need that order.
I know people who are very tidy, who are totally full of self-interest.
What?
I know people who are very tidy, very orderly, and are totally full of self-interest.
And that's what I'm asking you. So, what does self-interest mean? Huh?
If we were to merely assume that we had no self-interest.
I come here to learn about this. Please, I don't question you whether you are self-interested. I'll come to that later after you have followed. I'm not going to leave you alone. Say, you learn that, old boy, and you go on, but I want to find out from you whether you are doing it or just telling me things, stories.
Isn't the same question in another way? Do you feel totally responsible for this place? Isn't it the same thing?
Yes, sir, that's one of the things. You said, look, no pedestal. That implies don't form a group around yourself. Either here, among the staff, or with the students. So that gives you a pedestal, a position, a status. I've understood that. I'll go into it much more with you later. The next is self-interest. You say, what is further self-interest? No motive. Right? I see the implications, the meaning, and the significance of it. I've just caught it. I'm coming back to it later. And also, when you have no motive, you have no self-interest. I say, that's a tremendous thing you're asking me. My God, It's like giving me a tremendous kick. Suddenly, say, if you're going to, you have to learn to be without self-interest. Learn. You have shown me self-interest means to have no self-interest means be concerned with the whole thing, right? Like in a submarine. That's a very good simile. I'll stick to that for the time being. I don't know if the submarine people, some of them have told me. I used to know an admiral at one time, and he told me about it.
Everyone in the submarine is taught every job, or they're responsible
for the whole thing. If anything happens to anybody, he must take his place. So I understood that. Are you without any self-motive, self-interest? Are you palming off this on me? because I'm gullible, new, fresh, and you say, boy, you mustn't be without any self-interest. We may have it, but don't you have it. So I want to find out what it means. Learn from you. It's a tremendous thing you have asked me. You have taught me. No motive, and therefore no self-interest. All right, I'll work at that. Then what else? What have you learned? Come on, sir. You use the word responsible relationship. You haven't conveyed that to me yet. I haven't learned from you what it means. Do you mean love? Do you mean I must care? All right. What do I mean by caring? What do you mean by caring? Caring how you dress, how you eat, how you sleep, the room, what kind of taste he has. All that's implied in that, don't you? Huh? Huh? All that's implied.
It also implies what you used to speak of as the art of listening.
Yes, you're teaching me.
This is a very...
So, wait, that's what I'm coming to. Or you care. Do you then you're telling me, when you're teaching, we have learned how to care. Care for his body, care for how he behaves, care for how the taste, good taste, in clothes, right? All right, that's enough of this one. I learned another time when we meet on Saturday, I'm going to learn more. But in return, as a teacher, new teacher, I say, here are a group of you for last 5 years. Are you without? Are you without a pedestal? Huh? Or you telling me to behave without a pedestal? You yourself on a pedestal. I have a right to ask. So, are you on a pedestal? And no status, that means no group of students around you, no group, etc. You're all acting as one body. Right? Are you? And no motive. And responsibility, which means you are care. Are you paying complete attention, care to the boy, how he behaves, what he does, how he washes his feet and puts on clean clothes, his taste in clothes and curtains, carpets? Huh? Are you? Oh, you know what I mean by taste. Yes, good taste.
What is good taste?
I am asking you to ask me. I'll tell you. So I'm asking your view after 5, 7, 6, for 2 years here, telling me that you have learnt all this. Or are learning, not have learned, are learning about all this?
accurate to say we're learning than we have learned.
Huh?
It's more accurate to say that we are learning.
That's all. So we are all together learning, right? Would it be accurate? Huh? You are learning, and I, as a new teacher, am learning. So I don't criticize you or you criticize me, but we are learning. But I point out to you, which is not criticism. I wonder if you follow? You have a right to point out. Look, old boy, you're not caring. And I'm in a position because I want to learn. Therefore, you have a right to criticize me. And because you want to learn, I have a right to criticize you. Right?
It doesn't work that way in practice.
That's what I want to know. Which means point out. Which means I won't be hurt if you point out to me, look, you're not caring, whatever that may mean, we'll go into that. You're not caring. When you point out to me, I won't be hurt because I'm learning.
People do get hurt.
Therefore, you're not learning. So don't tell me to learn and not get hurt, and you get hurt. So we have written a book, sir. You understand? This is what I want to do together, right? That we write a book together. The Brockwood book. I know, I really seriously mean, because we're going to do this in India. I'm going to do this all together. Collect all the material, put it in. You follow? Right, sir? Is it time to stop? So we meet Saturday to pick up where we left off. Relationship means responsibility. Responsibility to what? For whom? And you said no motive, no self-interest. Therefore, you are teaching me as a new teacher that I must have no desire for a position here, a status here, gathering my own group and all that. That's a tremendous thing for me to learn. Right, sir? That means I'm totally out of the world. Right?
Out of the world.
Because the world is full of self-interest. Are you asking me to be a monk? Huh?
Well, if you've been listening,
Huh?
if you've been listening so far, that actually hasn't been the implication, but it's been more that in a real relationship that we've been talking about with you as a new teacher.
Yes, sir. I'm asking you. Are you asking me to be a monk?
No, we're asking you to relate much more.
So that because I'm out of the world, all this implies I'm no longer belong to the world, which is full of self-interest, full of status, position, prestige, platforms, and motives. Right? You're asking me to be out of all that. You're not asking me. That will put me outside the world, right? Right?
Of course.
Are you out of the world? You say, of course. Are you also doing the same thing as me? I'm not doing it, I'm learning it. I'm working at it.
Why can't you do that in the world, Rishaji?
Huh?
Why can't that be done in the world?
I don't say it can't be done in the world. I said that's what the world is. I may leave this place and say, by Jove, these people are just talkers, and I'll go there and fight the world. Because I see what you say is true. That's the way to live for me. And if I want to live that way, I see what you say is so highly intelligent, so true. And I want to live intelligently. That's why I'm here as a teacher. Chapter 1. I think we better stop, don't you? I hope I'm not pushing you too far, am I? Huh? I'm pushing myself. All right. We'll all write a book, sir. Shall we together? I think this is right. Huh? We are. I said we are writing a book now. But not by me. We're all doing it together.
Exactly.
Therefore, it is right. It's an anonymous book, right? I tried several years ago because I wanted to be anonymous. I hate my name and all that stuff, ambition, to speak to an audience behind a curtain. It didn't work at all.